Happy Arvo. Hello. Thank you so much for joining me today. How are you doing? Today, I was looking up basically a list of interesting events that happened in Australia history. I like to try to look up events that aren't so gigantic, but rather ones that, as an American, even if I had been alive during this, I might not have known it happened. But it caused, a big stir in Australia. And this is a very sad one, to be honest, but quite a fascinating one. Victor Chang. He was a pioneer of heart transplantation, which is, I think that makes him a hero. He was a Chinese-born Australian doctor, and he was murdered. That's all I know. I don't know why this video is there. I did not watch it. I think that just I don't know, my mouse is screwed up today. Anyway, it's by 60 Minutes Australia, a small and up-and-coming YouTube channel. Damn! 60 Minutes Australia has 6 million subscribers. There's only 20 million people in Australia. Wait, is it 26 million? All right. I guess 1 out of 5 of you subscribe to 60 Minutes Australia.
Dr. Victor Chang performed Australia's first successful heart transplant at St Vincent's Hospital back in 1984.
And I really do admire those families who can, in time of crisis, to make that decision to give somebody else an opportunity to live. I think that's the greatest gift that you...
Wow, that's actually bone-chilling to hear him say that. That is disgusting that someone would kill this man. And for him to say that, and it's wow, someone did the exact opposite to you, my friend. They did the exact opposite to you.
An opportunity to live. I think that's the greatest gift that you can give people.
That same year, then 14-year-old Fiona Coote, who's now 46, became the youngest ever heart recipient.
It's no great big deal, really. It's it doesn't hurt or anything like that.
And Dr. Chang's most
That's a miracle.
famous patient.
Life is not permanent for them, nor is it permanent for you and I.
Wow, this was quite a interesting, foreshadowing interview. Jeez.
But at the height of his career, on the 4th of July 1991, the surgeon was inexplicably gunned down on a Mossman Street in Sydney's north in an extortion bid that went...
So would this have been before... Wow, he was being extorted? Sorry to interrupt. This was before, the heavy gun reform and big buyback, I guess?
In an extortion bid that went horribly wrong. Friend and colleague, Professor Peter MacDonald, was a pallbearer at his funeral. What did we lose that day, the day Victor Chang was murdered?
We lost, one of Australia's great people, regardless of the profession he worked in and everything else. He was just a fantastic Australian.
Dr. Chang's death shocked all of Australia. The 54-year-old was not only a gifted surgeon, but a man of great compassion and charisma.
Didn't matter whether it was the Prime Minister or the cleaner of the hospital. He seemed to have this very warm, engaging style and making that person feel that they were the important person rather than...
That's a great doctor. That is the trait of a really great doctor. That's how the best doctors treat their patients, I feel. They that's how they view people, I guess, They treat their patients like family. It doesn't matter who you are. Very empathetic people, sounds like he was.
Other than him.
What made him such a brilliant cardiac surgeon?
He's always wanted to push the boundaries and, in that regard, he was clearly one of the major pioneers in heart transplantation in this country and globally.
Even today, Dr. Chang is saving lives. thanks to the brilliant work being done at the research centre established in his memory.
13 major research groups.
The Victor Chang Cardiac Research Institute.
I hope it goes into a little bit more detail. What happened? What do they mean he was trying to be extorted on the street?
And one of its most exciting achievements has been the development of technology that can bring a dead heart back to life, making it suitable for organ donation.
I think this is the new frontier in organ transplantation and
That was crazy.
organ preservation.
This world-first technology has vastly increased the number of hearts for transplantation.
So this little machine here will save potentially hundreds of lives.
Well, I'd like to think thousands of lives.
I'm going to finish this out, but also I need to look up what actually happened to him. As important as his legacy is, I mean, it's the most important part. But I want to know what happened to this man.
I mean, in one way, you're here because of Victor Chang.
Exactly. I can't thank him enough.
Tony Daniel is a fit and healthy 59-year-old. But 18 months ago, his life was hanging in the balance. He had end-stage heart failure and was given just weeks to live.
Wow.
Did you think you would die before you got a new heart?
Yeah, I didn't think I'd live till Christmas or my son's wedding, which was happening in November. So I thought if my heart doesn't come soon, that'll be it, yeah.
That's when he got the call from St Vincent's Hospital.
I mean, they effectively put what was once a dead, non-beating heart in your body.
Yeah. This
I didn't even know that was possible.
is like Frankenstein.
That is so cool.
Dead heart, a couple of shocks and bang, it goes off. And that's how I think it's a miracle that it happened.
This was Tony's new heart just moments before his transplant. It was resuscitated in what's known as a heart in a box, a machine that also extends the amount of time the organ can spend outside of the body, from 4 hours to up to 14.
Since that first successful heart transplant from these so-called dead heart transplants, we've now completed 9 of these transplants.
These type of medical videos are insane.
And are they well? Are
And
they
they're
healthy?
well. They have normal hearts, these people. Their hearts.
I have to say it's kind of funny to me how under different circumstances that video would be like the most terrifying thing I've ever seen in my life. But knowing it's being done by a doctor and it's a heart transplant, really beautiful.
Hearts are fully recovered.
When I came to, I felt
Kind of scary, really beautiful.
different, I felt great, and I felt like a new person.
Tony Daniel now has a chance at a future. He's seen his children marry and is looking forward to grandchildren.
So you've got your life back.
Yes, definitely.
And it's all thanks to Victor Chang. We can only imagine what this humble, much-loved heart surgeon would have achieved had he not been so senselessly killed. But still, the good work goes on in his name.
If he was watching on from somewhere, what would he be thinking?
Oh, I think Victor would he'd smile, and he would nod approvingly, and he'd be very excited.
A man of few words, it sounds like. I appreciate that. The legend. Okay, I need to see this. What the hell?
Well, the hitman who pulled the trigger on one of Sydney's most shocking murders has been granted parole, but it's unlikely he'll ever enjoy a minute of his freedom.
Victor Chang's killer will be deported the second he is released, and he's now suffering from chronic poor health and is close to death himself.
Okay.
Ellie Southwood was in court for today's ruling.
Chiu Liu was 48 when he fired 2 shots that claimed the life of world-renowned heart surgeon Victor Chang. Today, after 21 years behind bars and now suffering Parkinson's disease, Liu secured his release. The The Chang family chose not to attend the parole hearing, but they were represented.
Well, Howard, have you just spoken to the family?
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I have. I've just spoken with the Chang family. They are absolutely devastated by this outcome. They have absolutely no faith in the administration of justice in this state.
In July of 1991, Liu and another man, Philip Lim, rammed their car into Dr. Chang's Mercedes as part of a planned attempt to extort money. Dr. Chang got out his wallet, but in a panic, Liu fired 2 fatal shots. Lim, who supplied the gun, has already been released and was immediately deported in 2010. Today, Liu's lawyer said time was of the essence because if Liu wasn't deported soon, he'd become too unwell to travel and taxpayers would be forced to fund his long-term care in Australia.
The hearing was told on top of his Parkinson's disease, Liu also suffers from a major depressive disorder and is in the early stages of dementia. And while he hasn't served out his maximum jail term, he has already served 1 year more than his minimum non-parole period.
But the Attorney General says he doesn't care about the cost and he's now considering an appeal.
We tried hard to stop this.
It's a kind of a weird argument to say, oh, we're letting him go for the cost. I guess you could say that about anybody, huh?
Fought against it. You can't kill great doctors in this society. And
I don't have much of a soft spot for cold-blooded killers or robbers. So it's hard for me to empathize with this guy.
expect to be released early.
Appearing via video today, Liu had a small amount of white hair and every now and then his right arm would shake. In his 21 years at Long Bay Jail, his wife has visited just once. Tonight he'll prepare to return home to Malaysia to live with her once again. Pending an appeal, he's expected to be deported no later than the 10th of October. Ellie Southwood, 10.
Okay, all right. Well, at least I heard the more of the story. They hit his car and then just, okay, profoundly degrading way for him to go. So rest in peace to Victor Chang. Legend. What happened many years ago. That was all actually very fascinating. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll see you guys on the flip side tomorrow. Goodbye.